Hey guys, I am back with another video on a topic that I've gotten a lot of questions about. So today I want to tell you about my version of shipping my car to Mexico, because that is what I did. So many of you know in May of 2022, I moved from Atlanta, Georgia to Merida, Mexico. And when I moved, I wasn't sure what I was going to do with my car. I actually put my things in storage, except for the clothes that I brought when I flew down, but I put my things, my furniture and all of that stuff in storage. And I left my vehicle at my mom's house while I figured some stuff out. So I got down here, got settled, and realized very quickly that I wanted a car. You can survive in Merida without a car. There are lots of people who Uber everywhere that they need to go, and the Ubers are very inexpensive. So it's very plausible to do that. One of the things though that I just like the freedom of having my own car, the being able to go to from one store to the next store to the next store, or to not have to really worry about how much stuff that I was purchasing when I went to the store, because I knew I would have to go in an Uber. You know, like when I was going grocery shopping, I ended up, before I had my vehicle here, I would go grocery shopping and I would get just enough groceries for like the next 2 or 3 days. I would never really kind of like stock up on things because I was in an Uber, and it was like, you know, you can't keep going back and forth to the Uber to bring stuff in. So anyway, I decided that having a car was something that was going to be important to me. So then I had to decide, are you going to sell your car in the United States and then purchase a car here, which is what most people do. And that was the advice that I got from most of the people. Sell your car, purchase a car here in Mexico. Is a lot easier that way. The problem was I had just purchased my car. So I purchased my vehicle in July of 2021. I'd only had it for a couple of months. I did not have a lot of equity in my vehicle. I was grateful. I was fortunate enough to get an offer from my bank to where I didn't have to put any money down. I had a low interest rate. And so since I didn't have to put any money down, I did it. And because I didn't put any money down, at this point, my car did not have any equity. So when I was looking, I did Carvana, I did CarMax, and got like quotes before I left. And the quotes that they gave me were less than what I owed on the vehicle. So if I sold my vehicle, I was going to be without a vehicle and be out of about $7,000. And so in my mind, it just didn't make sense to do that. Like, why would I do that? Like, why would I lose $7,000 and still not have a vehicle? So in addition to not having any extra money to purchase a vehicle over here, I would have had to shell out an additional $7,000 and figure out how I was going to, either if I was going to continue to do Uber here, or if I was going to try to purchase a vehicle here. And one thing about purchasing vehicles, really most things here in Merida or in Mexico, they don't finance stuff like we do in the United States. And so when you purchase a vehicle, you need to have all the money to be able to do that. So in my situation, purchasing a vehicle here was not the best solution. So I had to do some research, because all of the people that I knew had never done what I did before. I had to do some research to figure out how I was going to get my car to Merida. So I had found a moving company that was going to bring my things, my furniture, the rest of my clothes, and all of that kind of stuff, but they weren't able to actually bring my vehicle. There's a special thing. I don't know what it's called, but there are only certain companies who are able to ship vehicles. And I called at least 10 moving companies, and I only found one company that was able to get my vehicle over here to the United States. And that company was amazing. I don't want to share the name of the company. I'll, like, if you find me on another social media platform and DM me, I'll happily share the information. But you know, one thing about videos is evergreen and things can change with companies. So I don't want to do any endorsements on this in this video. So I found a company that was able to ship my vehicle to Merida. They actually shipped to Progreso, which is the beach town not far from where I live here in Merida. So they shipped from the closest port that they shipped from was in Panama City, Florida. My car's in Atlanta. They ship from Panama City, Florida. So I had to figure out, how are you going to get your car to Panama City, Florida? So I had a few friends that offered like, hey, I could drive it down for you. But it was just like, if they drove my car down, then that means that I would have to pay to get them back to Atlanta, and it just didn't seem like the best option. So my next thing is I found a company who could drive my car on the flatbed down to Panama City. And so that's what I did. Found a company to drive the car to Panama City, Florida, and then the company in Panama City shipped my car to Merida. So I'm going to back up for 1 second, because before doing any of this, because there was lots of paperwork that I had to do with the company that was shipping my car to Merida, I had to get approval from my finance company. So if you don't own your vehicle outright and you have a loan on your vehicle, you have to get approval from the person who is the lien holder on the vehicle to take that vehicle out of the country. So I contacted my bank, which the bank that I use is also the bank who financed my vehicle, and they told me what I needed to do. So I had to submit like a letter to show that my income was not going to change, and I had a good payment history, good credit score. So I think that also played into it. But I had to show like that my income was not going to change when I moved to Merida. I had to get insurance on the vehicle. So I actually had to insure the vehicle here in Mexico before it was physically here, because my bank would not, they wouldn't give me the approval letter until I proved that I had insurance. So I was paying car insurance on a vehicle in 2 countries, still paying the car insurance in the United States as well as car insurance here in Mexico. So again, they had their list of things, and I gave them everything that they asked for. And once I did that, they gave me a letter to say that I had approval to get, take the car out of the country. So the company that shipped the car over, they shipped the car to Mexico, and it took a couple of days, like for it to get here, obviously, because it came on a freight boat. And once it got here, I had to find a broker in Mexico to do whatever. There's more paperwork. There was more paperwork that had to be done. And oh my gosh, so the company that shipped it, they had like a list of brokers, and the list, I'm gonna just be honest with y'all, the list was trash. Like people weren't answering their phones, or there was one company that they had this automated message, and it said like press 8 for English, and I press 8, and then it would go back to the same message, press 8 for English, I press 8, and this just went on and on and on. Some of the companies didn't respond to my messages. It was really, really hard. So my vehicle is here. The company lets me know like, hey, you got 5 days to get the vehicle out of the port. I can't do it myself. I have to have a broker here in Mexico to actually go get the vehicle for me. So I went to the office here in Merida of the company that actually shipped it. And I told them like, hey, I cannot find a broker. So the lady in the office was an angel. She knew someone that was a broker here. She connected us, and she connected me to Alejandro. Alejandro was my angel. He asked me for some documentation. I sent him everything he needed. And like the next day, he got everything cleared. Came, picked me up from my apartment, drove me to Progreso. I had to go to Progreso and pay some bank fees. The bank fees were like 9,300 pesos. You could do the conversion. And then, of course, I had to pay his fee. But all I did was like, he took care of everything. I didn't speak Spanish, still don't. I'm learning, right? And so he took care of everything, and we went to the port, got my car, and it was here. And so as exhausting as that process was, I am so happy to have my car here in Mexico, because now it gives me the freedom to be able to go when I want to go, do things that I want to do. And right after I got my car, I literally got my car, and 2 days later, I took a road trip. I'll do a video about my road trip and tell you more about that. So I hope that this video helps you if you're thinking about moving to Mexico, if you're thinking about putting your shipping your vehicle here. Hopefully this is some information that will help you. If you have questions, put them in the comments and I will be happy to respond. Thanks, and I'll see you guys in the next video.